Hey there, friends. As I make this video, the jury is deliberating the case of Zimmerman, Martin, in Sanford, Florida. There are 6 women on the jury, and they have a ton of pressure to decide based on the evidence how they feel whether George Zimmerman is guilty or innocent. And throughout the news, we watch of the potential of riots and how police departments and law enforcement throughout this country is preparing for that. And then other people are saying, well, that's just fear-mongering, saying that there could be riots. No, that's not fear-mongering. That's called preparation. That people on this channel, who watch this channel and so many others, we call that preparation for any event to take place. And one of the reasons is because this whole thing is race-based, the potential of riots is. There have been murders taking place throughout the inner cities and suburbs, hundreds since this case has taken effect, but yet all attention is based on this case because people like Al Sharpton are in front of thousands of people pounding their fists on podiums saying no justice, no peace, inciting this violent type of attitude. And it's the last thing we need in this country. I think it's good that people are preparing for this. And people who intend on rioting, you have to understand this. Nobody is going to allow you to come into their communities and destroy it. If violence is brought in, people will meet that with violence. Nobody's going to allow you to come into their business and loot it or riot in the streets and incite violence. That is the last thing this country needs right now. People like Al Sharpton pounding their fists saying no justice, no peace. You know, isn't there a better way to do that than to create this violent atmosphere? Which also brings the question, where's the president been? The only thing I've heard the president say so far is that if he had a son, he would look like Trayvon Martin. Well, that really helps. First of all, it's irrelevant. President Obama, you don't have a son, so it doesn't matter. Secondly, if you did and he looked like Trayvon Martin, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is about stand your ground law, and if that was adhered to in Florida. It has nothing to do with whether you had a son or whether you feel this is all race-based or not. The prosecution and the defense threw all the evidence out on the table, and now it's up to 6 women to decide the fate of George Zimmerman. No matter how you feel about that is up to you, but how you react to that is up to you as well. I don't know many people who are going to sit back and allow their communities to be ruined because people disagree with the verdict, any which way it goes. And it sure would be nice to have some leadership from the president. You know, have one of your speechwriters type something in your teleprompter and read it to try to calm the nerves of millions of Americans who are sitting back waiting for the response. You know, this whole racial hatred thing needs to end. Also consider this. The parents of Trayvon Martin, who have been heartbroken from the beginning, said that their goal in all this was to get this case in front of a jury. And they're willing to accept the outcome. So why is it that they are willing to accept the outcome of this, and yet other people are not? They're getting their day in court, and we'll see what happens. But I appreciate that response from especially the mother who said that she was willing to accept the outcome. She wanted her day in court. So that's the exact thing we need, is people to unite in this country and not to divide. And we sure could use some leadership from the president and other leaders out there instead of pounding their fists talking about what they could do to make this situation better. I appreciate you watching. My hope and prayers is that this whole thing is peaceful and somewhat educational of how we can do better in the future. You guys be safe.